3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
That was so lame. And people who are listening have no idea.
We clinked our coffees.
In our matching mugs.
Alice in Wonderland. Happy New Year to the blondies out there.
Oh my gosh, 2024.
2024. 2020 more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the non-explicit version of what we have been saying.
Yeah.
If you can gather, you can gather. But I'm Liz.
I'm Lily Emma.
Welcome back to Blonde Vibrations.
This is Champagne Whispers episode 14.
14's my lucky number. Isn't that great?
Yeah, and I said that, 4 is my lucky number. And I said that it's going to be a lucky year.
If 4's...
Every date has 4 in it.
If 4's your lucky number and 14's mine, you're the one I need. See, where's that wrist when I need it?
But like the 4th of April 2024 is going to be a stunning date for me.
It absolutely is. The 14th of the 4th 2024 will also be a good one. That's also April.
26/04/24.
That's my birthday.
4th of March.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. But I almost wish you were 4th of April, because then this year 4/4/24. Yeah, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
But
sorry.
Yeah, the running title for this is Listening to 2023, Learning for 2024.
I love that. Alice was like,
that was so
how's this for the title? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, okay.
I managed to slay both titles this week, I'm not going to lie. I'm coming into this year with some fresh... Well, I always think of ideas in my head, just in my head, and I'm like, I don't know about that. Nah, I'm putting them into fruition. You're going to see the labours of my brain this year.
It's the year of seeing inside Eliz's mind.
It's the year of realising things. Who says that? Kylie Jenner. Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, did she realise things.
Yeah, she realised. She realised what we wanted to realise this last year. How to date Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
So
she
congratulations.
did my New Year's resolution last year.
Well, 2020 more. So happy New Year. The year went far too quickly once again. The fact that this time last year I can remember living each day is crazy, because my memories of daily activity don't ever go very far back.
But they do for this time last year.
Yes, I remember each day. It was like, well, I've set the scene here. Last New Year's, it was a snowy season. It was really cold. It was like freezing, and we kept having like hot chocolates in the morning and coffees in the morning, like hot ones. We were both doing our masters. We had just babies.
Yeah.
Like absolute babies.
I think this time last year we thought we had it, even with the podcast, we thought we had it all figured out. We were so big for our boots, considering that I look back now and I'm like,
babies. And we had different friends, not to dwell on that right now, but we had different friends going on.
We actually went into New Year's with a friend that we didn't even really get halfway through the year with.
That I will never, I know this can be a learn from we'll get to, but I will never do that again. I really need to I want to think about who, you're doing your makeup with these people. You're planning plans for next week, next month, whatever. You have to be sure. We spent New Year's with Caitlin
and your brothers.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't want to be so bold as to say I'm going to leave the year with my brothers, but I think I might. Yeah, I was fresh broken up about 2 weeks actually. That actually is kind of weird. So there's now been a whole year of that and learning from that. In terms of I'm not putting words in your mouth of how you felt this time last year, I kind of thought, and I was reminiscing on it earlier, I had my plan until September, and then I didn't know what September was going to look like. I knew that there was going to be some sort of break for me, and I was just kind of looking forward to something that I couldn't even visualize yet.
Yeah.
I had a whole lot of pressure on the year as a whole to be okay, at the end of this I have to have it figured out, because I don't know what it looks like yet.
I guess that's kind of comforting in knowing that while your studies stopped sooner than you'd planned, the plan never covered right now. Like you just said, the plan never covered past September, so you don't know if you're not where you wanted to be because there wasn't anything.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm
All
I'm
it
not
is
gonna...
that you don't have a piece of paper.
Yeah, I suppose. What about yourself?
I am where I thought I would be, but different.
Facts, though. Can we,
Yeah.
can everyone round of applause that she actually had her plan and did it?
So this time last year, I couldn't hear out of one of my ears, and I was doing a PhD application, and I remember it must be coming round because it was one of the days just before the funding deadline, and the deadline's end of Jan. And I remember Sophie, our old housemate, was bleaching my hair, and I remember washing it out and then getting really upset. And I'm like, I'm not upset at my hair, I'm upset this application because it's awful, and that's like a core memory for me. And
That's
then
so
I got the
nice.
place. I didn't get the funding, but
regardless, that I'm we always talk about not the fact that your PhD is normalized, but because that is now just your set life for 4 years, it becomes very normalized very quickly. But you applied for something first time around, the hugest, literally, I know we always talk about your PhD, but the highest level, the Grammys of what you can do with it,
the top of the pyramid.
And you put in your Grammys for your consideration, and then immediately got album of the year. You actually did.
I don't know, I got not to diminish,
no,
but I got live performance of the year.
No, you got album of the year. You got album of the year. We're not doing that. It's album of the year, record of the year, newcomer. You absolutely got.
I'm not really a newcomer though. Me at the same uni for my third degree.
But what's the end of that? Nevertheless, or something.
I can't remember. But yeah, so I feel like, and I'll probably talk about this in a bit, but I am where I wanted to be, but it wasn't the journey I thought it was going to be, which I think is
it's something to make note of.
Yeah.
But it's recognizing that you're still where you're meant to be and want to be.
Yeah.
And actually excelling at it. You're doing really well.
Yeah.
And you were doing currently extracurriculars with that, with your presentation and everything. Well, I didn't know that was part of it. You might have, but I didn't.
So yeah, I feel like that's one check.
Absolutely.
For 2023.
Yeah. And I have hair on my head. I
saw
actually,
that coming.
No one thought that was gonna happen.
No.
There were some real moments. It was coming out thick and fast, and then the hair was no longer thick. But we did it, and I actually did a haircut, which I said I would never do. So there we go.
Yeah.
Before we go into
people who don't listen probably think people who don't watch are probably oh my god, how much hair has she actually got? Thinking you being I've got hair on my head. Did you just reveal the wig and there's there's some hair?
For the audio listeners, I'm in pigtails right now. It's not the worst. It's definitely is getting better. So just visualize. I have some, but I used to have about 3 times the amount. We'll just go from there. But yeah, before we go on to things I learned, I just have one last thing to say, and it's about the concept of New Year's as a whole. New Year's Eve is my favorite day of the year because I personally am a fan of the big reset, and I just love a celebration. I love something we can all celebrate. However, life doesn't just reset. So if you actually get really too stressed out about the fact of God, I need to become a new person, need to have all these set goals and stuff, just don't. You actually don't have to see it as a big thing at all, just because we do, and we like to make these resolutions and think God, what can I do this year that excels from last year? You don't have to do that.
It's also, it doesn't have to be on the 1st of January. We've still not done our vision boards and our goals for the podcast yet, and it's the 6th?
Yeah, 7th maybe.
Yeah, we're well into it. We've just not had a chance to do it yet, but we'll do it at some point and it will have the same effect. We also tend to set goals and resolutions throughout the year. We used to do it with each season of the podcast, which was every 12-ish weeks we used to set new goals. When I was 18, would set my New Year's resolutions in February because January just didn't count when you're a fresher. What is January to that? I feel I agree that New Year's is nice because gives you an opportunity to reflect and to make goals. But I think you can have that feeling anywhere.
You could do that every first of the month if you really want to.
You went through a phase of that.
Yeah, or like when you get to halfway through the year and then you're like, okay, what did I just do in that first half that I want to switch up in the second half? You could do it at any point.
Or you could do it for your birth years.
Yeah.
On your birthday, you could be like, this is the things I want to achieve at this age. Like, I feel like...
Because I kind of did that in some ways. I keep saying, like, so 23, whatever is happening in 2020, or in my 23 year... there's going to be a difference between what's happened in 23 year and 24 year. Like, I already have that as a resolution for myself. So if you want to do it like that, you can. And just January 1st, who?
I also think it's important, because we're going to be talking a lot about, like, things we want to, like, not change, but things we want to include. I think that's an important thing. I think the healthy way to do New Year's and resolutions and goals is to not have it as like, I'm going to be a completely different person, but rather like, I'm going to better my quality of life by doing XYZ, rather than like, I don't like the way, like the set one, like, I don't like the way I look, so I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week. Like, that's not a healthy way to plan things. But, you know, like, I want to
make better choices for my health.
Yeah, or like, I want to cook and eat better and have like my 5 a day, you know, like little things like that, rather than like, I'm going to change. I think it's, I'm going to improve.
Also, like, it's taking them with like a pinch of salt. If you don't check off everything from your list, it's also okay. The harsh truth, I am sorry to say it, is if you are waiting for January 1st to come around to become a completely different person, you have more to work on than the things you're putting on a list. And I'm learning that as well. If you're like actually putting things off to be like, no, in the new year, like, I'm gonna be a different person. I was joking saying as soon as January 1st hits, I'm a baddie. And like, you can say things like that, but you know, if you're like, I'm actually changing, like the way people are gonna view me is not the same anymore. Just take it slow, because you don't want to like jump into things, regret it, and then be like, I've wasted that year, I regret that. Like, don't make resolutions into regrets, because it's just like, it's not that deep.
I feel like you're a good person for like goals and resolutions, because you had that moment where you did your monthly goals.
I did.
But Liz would let them carry on if she's not done it. And I think that's a nice way to do it, is that like, it's unrealistic that you're going to meet every goal, and there's nothing shameful in continuing that goal. You know, like some people are always like, oh yeah, this is my same resolution the 3rd year in a row. It's like, and
what about it?
Like changes aren't timed for X amount of like 30 days. Other than it's like breaking a habit and like, you know, like really like structural things. Yeah. But I feel like for most resolutions and goals, they're like untangible things. Like the amount of times we've set goals for the podcast and it's like, well, I physically can't do that until the summer.
Yeah.
Like it'll be like, go to this thing, and that thing isn't until the summer. And then if we don't get that, it's like, well, now I'm going to have to wait till next summer. And it's nothing to do with your progress. It's what's there available for you. So for example, if I didn't get my PhD place, I wouldn't be able to try again until this run. And that's just one of those things, is that timing.
And you would just do it again if you got it. It wouldn't take away from the fact that you didn't get it for a year.
Yeah, that was my goal last year. Like
the spot,
and you've still hit the goal.
And it's like,
no matter when it is.
You know, if I was like, okay, this year I'm getting back into the SQE thing, and then I finally got it, it wouldn't take away from not getting it last year or the whatever. Because at the end of the day, you know how what we were just saying, like, you didn't get funding but you have your place. Doesn't matter how you got there, you have it. You could do it in 5 years' time, which is why you're best newcomer, because you didn't have to. Like, everyone else waited 5 years, but you did it. But if you had to
like
wait...
youngest PhD student to know, it's like, man.
It's giving, like, the youngest EGOT.
Or, like, you know, the 16-year-old that won the darts.
Yeah. Or some weird references coming in this year. But, yeah, if you did it in 5 years' time, you still did it. At the end of those 4 years, like, you still have the PhD. It doesn't matter if you were 28 when you're graduating or 70. I don't know if you can do that when you're 70, but I'm sure there probably are some 70-year-old PhD students. That's great for you.
Yeah.
At uni days.
I feel like a consistent goal for everyone is just like to not be harsh on yourself, and I'm aware of the irony of me saying this. But
take your own advice then.
But yeah, I feel like on the topic of resolutions and goals.
And I think that is something that can go beyond years and stuff, is taking your own advice. If you feel like you would say it to someone else, picture it being said to you, because you probably would listen a bit more. I think that's something, just as a general, doesn't matter if it's 2024, 2025, like if you would sit down with someone and say, here you go, picture it coming back, do it in a mirror. It's kind of weird. You might look like ill, but at the same time it's gonna help you.
I like when people have little like motivational like quotes and goals by their mirror. You know how there was like that trend a few years ago where people put their resolutions next to the mirror.
I have a quote I'm gonna write down, put on my board.
Well, I have everywhere post-it notes saying that I'm gonna get funding, so I guess that's kind of that, but it's
maybe
more the
get some
manifesting route.
Quotes. I have a quote later on, but it's for the year, so I don't want to give you any spoilers, because I have to come in with a weird quote at some point. But yeah, let's go for things I learned from 2023. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I feel like trying to pick which one I want to like lead with. I feel like we've kind of already mentioned it, but I feel like in a way of like rejection, I know we did the episode on it, okay, but I feel like something I learned is like how to cope with different types of rejection and kind of like coming back from it stronger and kind of growing a thicker skin. I think I feel like I don't want to rehash that whole episode, but I feel like my funding was probably the biggest rejection I've ever had, because like, you know, when you get it and then you're like, oh my god, everything's crumbling down. But I think like I learned that you need to bounce back from it very quickly, and it knocked me out for like a good portion of time, I think. But I feel like I learned that you can't do that and you have to come back from it stronger. And I liked when we were kind of like saying in that episode that it's not, when things go wrong, it's not necessarily an ending, it's just another hurdle to jump. And I think that's kind of something that I learned heavily in 2023.
And it's never
and not seeing things
reflection.
As like, like it's not just like, I have quite black and white thinking, but I think something that has kind of helped me not always see it like that is seeing things not as the end of the world, but like, you just need to move past this one thing and get back on track.
That's good.
Thanks.
I have... It sounds weird now. If you don't slow down, you'll look back and wish you could go back.
Yeah.
Because... And I keep saying this, I am actually... We have a whole episode about like optimism and stuff coming out. I'm an optimistic person. I had some bad things last year. However... Whenever we're talking about the year, I'm like, we did some really good things. We're so lucky and blessed and fortunate. Like, I blocked out from about March to summer. I don't know what was going on. I had no idea what I was doing. And I feel like I was just floating and not really like myself at all. But now I'm like, but if I'd have slowed down and at the time been like, it's okay, like just breathe, stop crying, just like breathe a little bit, like I could have now remembered more of like good things, because there obviously was. Like, just slow down, like even if it's a bad period, like you still have good things going on. And like that's what I feel like I was already okay at that, but now I'm learning that like you have to, because otherwise a year of your life's gonna go past and you're like, oh, that's gone now. Like the fact that it's already January. It's like, how is time going so quickly? Just slow down, because otherwise 10 years is going to go past and you're like, oh, I'm in my 30s. And that's scary. So to prevent the scaries, slow down.
I had like a similar one, but I phrased it a bit different. I was like, the world doesn't just stop because you're upset.
I love that you've said that.
Right? Because it's like, I feel like you can look at that as like a don't stop the grind, but I'm kind of more looking at it as that like, you actually can't, and this is the whole like, you just black out and just miss months, is that like there's a difference between the world doesn't stop, so just like keep going and keep pushing yourself really hard, and like the world doesn't stop, so you can't just like mourn things. I had some like and I think I realised this kind of in the winter months. I had some really sad family news, and the next day I went into work and everyone was like, why are you here? And I was like, well, because like life goes on and this is a continuing thing. And if I just sit at home feeling upset about it, I'm going to waste months. No offense, but like how you did. I'm just going to be like, I'm not going to remember these months, but I have things to do. Like,
yeah, sorry, that's so,
do you know what
no
I mean?
offense, but like you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then I would have that same regret where it's like, I don't remember these months. And it was like the start of my PhD, like my first semester of that. And I was doing funding applications, and I was like,
there's too many good things
and
to
it's
sit
like,
with the bad for too long.
You need to take the time to still care for yourself, like you're saying, but at the same time, not to the point where you're missing out on things and you're not appreciating things. And I think, again, because I'm so black and white, I think when something goes wrong, that's that, and everything else is rubbish. But I think that there's kind of a benefit in picking yourself up and being like, but like things still are going on, like you still have things to do.
Doesn't mean you can't stop enjoying things. If anything, enjoy them more.
Yeah, like I think once upon a time I wouldn't have even been able to like record a podcast that week. I don't know if we did. We probably
I don't
didn't,
know
but
if we did, but it just happened to be the way of the rolling episodes.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like once upon a time I wouldn't be able to do anything, and once you do it and that 1 week is over and you're like, I still went to work and I still got work done, and
business
you're like,
as
you know
usual.
what, that's good. Like, it's not, and I'm not saying like you shouldn't have like down moments and chill moments, but I just think to know yourself and to know when it's not needed.
Yeah, definitely.
Because sometimes it is needed, but other times it's like I'm just upsetting myself more by just,
Then once you're like busy again,
yeah.
and also like reflecting on, this could be like relevant to anything, reflecting on the situation there, how much upset do I need to put into it right now? Not as much as I was, so I can go and do the things I want to do.
And once you kind of do something else, you don't think about the sad thing,
Yeah.
because you're achieving other things. Like when you got your job, you can't reflect so much on not doing your studies, because you've actually just achieved something because you've got a job.
I'm going to pop in my next one, which you can close your ears for this one. Anyone can hear this. Academia isn't everything.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to be your whole life just because it's your main course. It doesn't, I don't have to, I got dropped away from it. And, learning from 2023, that, academic validation, it's not the be all and end all. I didn't know what I was for a minute there without grades. You don't get graded on the rest of your life, and even you'll get that at some point, when you're not having things turned in and stuff. And I feel like there was a slope with that because I wasn't doing well at the masters either, so there was already kind of the what validation am I even getting?
It's kind of I agree. I think I speak to a lot of people and they're like, I can't believe you're continuing, this is how. And it's but I think the problem is that sometimes it's just not a fit. And it's nothing to do with not being good enough for it, but sometimes it just doesn't work. The same way, if you're in a job that you hated, you're not going to do well. You know, if you're unhappy in something, you're not going to do well. And I think there's an idea with academia that you're on a course, you have to finish it. But it's realistically, no, because that is a crazy idea to think if you're not enjoying something, you still have to do well and you still have to complete it. That is crazy. That is such a crazy attitude to have. And if you had that in any other way, imagine if you had that in a relationship thought. That is not healthy, and
you don't have to see it through to completion.
Yeah, and I think that's why more people need to think academia isn't everything, because sometimes it just isn't fulfilling.
Because in your case, if the PhD was 20 exams a year, you probably wouldn't do it.
No.
You don't do exams.
No.
You never have. So you enjoy the independence of writing.
If there was any point during my masters that I was unhappy, I wouldn't be doing my PhD, because why would I sign up 4 years, financially break myself for it? Do you know what you mean?
Love it. And also, you found your masters easy. So that probably is a huge part of it as well, is you are good at it, so you can carry on without too much derailing of your sanity with it, because you enjoy doing it.
But I feel the argument of academia isn't everything is that it's a route that's forced on a lot of people but it's not a route you have to take. And I think it's becoming a route that people are trying to break down. And I was kind of saying this, I did a talk to undergraduate students about the master's program, and I was kind of saying, like, if you're not 100% set on it, don't do it. Like, genuinely, do not do it. Take time out, do something else. But if you're not feeling like you should go and do it, you don't need to. But there's this thought that, like, you finish school and you go and do your undergrad and then you go and do your master's and then you're done and you've got everything you need. But it's like, not necessarily. Like, if that's not what you want to do, you don't have to do it. There are people out there who didn't do an undergraduate degree and get 1,000% paid more than both of us.
Well, it's like the millionaires dropped out of school, didn't they? Like the billionaires never went to school a day in their life.
And it's just,
take it from the future scholar. Well, you are a scholar, but future published scholar. She's saying it's not everything, so it's fine. And also, if you are then going down that route, don't make it that your everyday, because still go out and do your stuff. You know you're gonna get it done in the end. You're allowed to take a few days off to be like, I'm gonna go to Spain. Do you know what I mean?
What I've weirdly noticed is that I've not met a lot of PhD students, but the ones that are in my cohort, they don't eat, sleep, and breathe academia.
That's good.
Like, this is crazy. Like, I feel like that was the most, like, whoa, sorry to the people, but the people who I knew at uni who were, like, made it their entire personality and, like, were amazing at it their whole life, they couldn't continue because they burnt out. Whereas these people, they're the people that, like, sure, were naturally good at it, but they also, like, have lives, and they don't, like... I sit there and I'm the most, like, deadline crazy, like, uber organized person. I think that's good. However, I was like, oh my god, this whole time I thought that you have to be this kind of person, but it shows it's just random. Like, it purely is. Like, sometimes it just fits and sometimes it doesn't, but it doesn't matter if you're the best student and you have the heart in it, because you did.
I did.
But it just
the heart.
It's just random, I think. I think it's just... you get lucky.
Law's a whole, like, that's a...
Yeah.
I think you actually, that's one of those things you kind of do have to eat, sleep, law, repeat. And I'm not made for that because
that's not a way to live.
I look at life as something to be lived, not always something to be working towards this big goal, because I always think, like, okay, I could get run over by a car tomorrow, and if I was only thinking about my tax exam that's going on next month and everything, inheritance tax and everything, then I'm gonna, like, be crashed and I'm gonna have stress lines. However, if we went to the concert, the Thomas Hedon concert at Love Shack the night before my exam, then at least I heard she's so sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just feel like... I feel like it goes for everything. I know, like, you guys do different things, whether it's, like, you're in work or you're in school, whatever. I think it's a bigger metaphor for, like, you don't need to continue with something you don't like doing just because you feel like that's the right path. Like, if it's not fulfilling you. And that is
a big point for the relationship thing as well. I know we spoke about that a while ago, but it is true. Like, you don't have to carry on with things. You can even step out of it. You're allowed to regret that decision and also go back. Same with academia. If you want to leave and then go back, you can. Nothing is set in stone as long as you're not messing around with other people in the process. Like, I spent a bit of time in 2023 thinking, like, did I rush out of that relationship a bit too quickly, a bit prematurely without thinking? Like, I know the answer is no. I needed the extra time.
Have to think about it.
I do think, like, there was a lot of changes that just happened in those couple of months, very drastically, but it's for the best.
And I think it's the times in which you don't have things that you realise how much you do or don't need it. Like, in the moment where I didn't get funding and I thought I couldn't do the PhD was the moment I realised that I wanted to do it the most. Because when I applied, I knew it was something I wanted to do, but I didn't know why or how or really what it was. And then when I didn't get funding, I was like, oh my god, that was what I really wanted to do. And I think you need time away, whether it's a person, you break up with them and you think, like, oh, actually, I don't care enough to get back with them.
Sorry, if you weren't watching then, she had, like, a hair on her face, so I just moved it, but it was a bit too lovingly.
But it wasn't, like, addressed, but I had to finish my sentence.
No, babe, carry on. That's the end of your
that's the end of my
sentence
sentence.
then. My next one is, and this is like a harsh truth because I have done so well with this year, that no one cares what you look like, what you wear, how you style yourself, how big, little, or whatever you are. It doesn't actually matter. Just go outside. Because I realised I was home alone on Friday night. I was walking around in my dressing gown and I was like, yeah, my body looks amazing. Like, my body tea. Like, I look great. And it's only when other people are around I start to think like, oh no, because I'm comparing myself to them. But what I'm learning is everyone is so focused on themselves, they actually don't care. And you might be wearing something that doesn't go together, but then they're not focused on that. They're wondering if what they're wearing is going together. However, what aesthetic you go for, whatever. Try it out, because no one actually cares. You're probably going to get more compliments than you think. If you think you've gained weight or something, you can do something about it if you want, but if you don't, no one actually cares. If you're happy and healthy within yourself, even if you're not healthy, it doesn't matter because it's no one else's business.
I saw a TikTok the other day that was like, no one ever thinks about anyone you've ever seen. Like, not once can I think, I wouldn't look at someone and think this anyway, but you know, like, I cannot think of one person that I've looked at and thought like, that's an ugly person.
Yeah, like you just
why would
don't.
I remember that? Like, even if someone thinks it in a split second, why on earth would you cross their mind again and it doesn't affect you? Because like, why would that affect you if someone thinks you're ugly? Like, okay.
People are far too selfish to really be considering you that much. And well, it's like I saw this TikTok and I was with you and I watched it, and this girl was like, what's the first thing you notice about me?
As well.
My thing was she had really nice eyes, and a lot of the comments were like, eyes, eyebrows, whatever. And then she was like, you didn't notice my skin, did you? And it's okay, yeah, she had some spots, cool, she actually had quite a lot, but no, you don't notice. Like, again, with weight, skin is something no one else ever notices until you bring that into their attention and start saying, I have bad skin, and then you're basically forced to analyze it, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, I did see that, but I wouldn't have noticed before. No one notices.
You know, I'm not going to name the person, and I don't think they are listening, but we were sat with an artist once, and they were looking at pictures of themselves, and they went, my skin looks really bad there. And I remember we were both like, what on earth? Like, these are such cool photos. You're such a cool person. You have like fans, and you've just looked at this picture, and you've just said that your skin looks bad, and nobody here thought that. And that's when you were like, I was like, oh, that's crazy, because like,
it's
that you must be like, I think musicians have to be some of the most like confident people to stand in front of like loads of people, but in that moment I was like, oh my gosh, you're just like us.
And it's like, I could tell you 5 things now that in theory I would maybe change about my face, but I'm not going to, because you've not noticed any of them. You're not looking. You might be now because like we're acting like we're perfect, but like all of those things, I guarantee you've not thought like that's the one thing that lies on your face that I would remove. And like, I think in previous years, like when we did that Higher Street photo shoot last year, I hated them. I hated how I looked in all of them. But I think I'm only just at a place now that I'm like, we could do a photo shoot, and I'm like, that was a really good experience. So whatever the outcome is, in a few years, I'm always someone where I hate pictures in the first instance. So when I look back, I'm like, not that deep. Like, now I can look at them at the time and think like, okay, that's whatever, that you go ahead and, you know, like if we're picking pictures for the posts, I'm like, any of them, I don't care, just whichever.
I think there are sometimes photos that are bad. I think like you're allowed to think this. I have this actually in my next section as well. And I don't think you have to like every picture of yourself, and I think it's okay for you to sometimes be like, I don't like how I look there. However, for the most part, I can look at something and be like, that's what I look like. And whether I like the photo or not, I'm like, that's my face, like that is me.
Yeah, if you're just smiling in something and it's just like a very, obviously you can have slips.
Yeah,
like there's things where you're not ready and stuff, like I'm not talking about any of them, but if you know there's a picture, we're smiling, we're taking the thumbnail and we're like, and then suddenly we're picking it apart, it's like, no, because that actually is what you look like.
Yeah, like that.
So, and that's how everyone sees you. And even if you upload that and you're thinking, I hate that picture, if it's an all-rounded fine picture, not a slip, that's how everyone sees you anyway, so it doesn't actually make a difference.
I think so this year, was it this year?
What, did we start recording?
We started filming the podcast,
yeah.
And that was the biggest culture shock, especially it was before Becky.
BB.
And I would sit and I would edit the video podcast, and it was the worst experience of my life because not many people always used to say to us, like, I can listen to myself speak for an hour, and that, I used to be like, that's fine, like, that's just my voice. I'm saying facts. It's my voice, and I hear my voice in my head all the time. It's not really any different. But oh my god, you don't know yourself until you watch yourself speak, especially in situations like this where, like, we were speaking so organically that it's like
you're not like posing.
We
or
weren't
anything.
performing. Especially at the start of the podcast, we were just chatting about things, and watching yourself just talk for an hour is like, that's actually how people see me. Like, that is me in movement, and I think seeing that has made me see myself, and I'm like, that's just what I look like.
Yeah, because I think, like, 2021, 2022, I didn't really take that many pictures of myself, and now I'm like, the more I just take pictures of myself, I'm like, yeah, that's me. Okay. Yeah, that's me. That's just how I am. And, like, also the fact that we have this shared Instagram where we are constantly putting ourselves, reels of us talking all the time. It's like, if you don't like the way you look, or at least, like, tolerate it, if you don't have, like, neutrality with it, we can't carry on. And we actually can't. Like, the content won't be there. And it's not to say, like, if you're having a bad day, like, you have to, oh my god, we have to take this photo shoot. That's not the case, but it's like, things roll. And obviously that's very tailored to Blonde Vibrations. But, like, with yourself, if you just, like, get to know what you look like and then realise no one cares, then your 2024 is going to be a lot better.
Yeah, my final one kind of ties into this. And it was to, like, be yourself unapologetically, and people will, like, come and go. But, like, you can't change yourself. And I think...
What was it? Come and go, but you know I'll stay. That song. The TikTok one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it kind of... So sorry to keep dragging this person through the mud. But as we said, we spent New Year's with someone who we're no longer friends with. And that was because they were saying something about one of us that simply was not true. But that
you can so tell from my face that it was about me.
But, like, why would a Liz need to defend herself and be like, no, that's not actually me? Like, why do you need to convince someone that you're something that you know you are but they're not seeing?
Yeah.
Like, I think that, and I think I kind of had it, and I get it goes into the next section, but I kind of had it that it's like, the more yourself you are, people like that because they'll like you. Whereas if you're not yourself, people are gonna like this different version of you, and then now and then, like, the real you will slip out and people will be like, what? And you'll have more shallow friendships. And I said this in an episode where I was like, I have closer friends now and I have deeper friendships than I ever had, and I genuinely think it's because I just started being myself, and feeling like I can be myself made me more outgoing as a person, and people now like that.
You're very outgoing.
I'm really outgoing, and that's just because I am myself, and I don't have to think about... I've said this before, but I don't feel like I need to think about what I'm saying before I say it, because I trust that it's me, and I'm not going to say anything weird, and if I do, it's me. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like I can speak more, and I chat to people, and then they like chatting to you because you're just... speaking, and you're
speak now.
Yeah, but I feel like that is something that I never, and it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter if you don't feel like you can do that, but the moment you are kind of unapologetically you, and you're chatty, and, like, I go places and I'm like, I'm a late person, and, like, that's just me. I know who I am, I know what I look like, I know my personality. People will like that because it's like, people like authentic people and not fake people, and you'd be surprised how much people can see through when you're a fake person. I've met people that I look at and I'm like, that's not you, and I don't want to be around someone who's fake, because why would I want to do that?
Life's too short for fake people.
Yeah, and I feel like
it'll always come out in the end anyway.
Yeah, and I feel like life's just more enjoyable when you get to, like, be yourself.
Yeah, my brother said something I did on New Year's was weirdo behaviour. And I'm like, okay, what about it? Maybe 2024 is weirdo behaviour. I guarantee he doesn't remember saying that to me.
And you've already snitched on him to the other brother.
I snitch on him to everyone. Okay.
But yeah, so I just feel like personal growth and knowing yourself.
My next one actually ties in very well to
We're
this.
doing well at this. Like, we're very, like, coordinated.
Yeah, this is my final one. I think you as a person, like, yeah, all this personal growth and everything, but you don't have to be perfect straight away. And you're allowed to make mistakes. And real friends don't hold grudges, because it is how you develop as a person. If you, like, own up to something or whatever, and I'm not talking about the person from...
No, we've moved on
from
that.
From last year.
Yeah.
From, as in the person we went
Yeah.
into New Year's
Yeah.
with. We're not doing that, because she... Whatever. We're not gonna, like, out who she is.
No.
Even though I do wonder if you could, like...
Figure it out. You probably could, because you would just go to the posts.
Don't worry about it. But, like, if you annoy someone in some way, you've upset someone, and then they hold themselves accountable and whatever, if you keep bringing it up, like, how much do you really want them to develop? Because it's not nice. Like, if you already beat yourself up about something, like your friends and stuff shouldn't also be doing that. Like,
I think it's important to have people say, like, I don't know why you did that.
Yeah.
Or, like, I don't like that. I think that's important and that's fine. But I think,
like, once it's done,
that's happened now.
Like, unless I actually put in brackets not murder, because that's the lengths I mean. Like, if someone's like, I murdered someone, I'm sorry, just get over it. No, you murdered someone, so, like, you know, prison
But
time.
within reason,
Yeah.
if no one got hurt,
Yeah.
and it's either you can move past or it can be fixed, that's that.
Yeah,
And
if
this is the thing, is that real friends will like you for who you are, and if you're being fake, you can't get away with things like that.
But if you're like, nah, this is XYZ, whatever, you can't really argue with that.
Yeah.
Like, and if you still want that person in your life, if they didn't do something, if they didn't, like, kiss your boyfriend or something, do you know what I mean? Like, things like that. That's the line I'm talking about. If you turn around to me and was like, I actually kissed your boyfriend, but I didn't. No, come on. Hey, he kissed me.
We're all friends here.
I thought it was funny. I wouldn't be like, well, you're my friend, so that's fine. But in less extreme circumstances.
If I was like, it's been haunting me, I really regretted it, I've done some soul searching and I've realised I did it because of this and I was acting out, but I'm really sorry and I'm doing XYZ to get better, then you kind of have no... If you are friends and you really care about that person, you will find a way to work through it.
Or you, like, commented on someone's picture that I used to have a grievance with, just being, like, cute or something, and you're like, oh, lapse of judgment, didn't think.
Yeah.
That, like, lapses of judgment is what I mean, not horrible personality defects that mean you've done something to hurt your friend, but lapse of judgment, it's not the end of the world, because they'll probably then make a lapse of judgment at some point, and it's okay. Not okay, but, like, it's understandable. And if 2024 is about, like, growing and developing, it's also about acceptance and forgiveness, where it's like where it's valid.
Yeah, and
You don't have to accept everyone.
I think you need to own your own mistakes, and not to the point where you're beating yourself up, but to be like, in order to progress as a person, you need to be like, this is something I did, I'm aware it's wrong, this is why I did it, and this is what I'm going to do to improve.
I think it's, like, about like what you said about learning from it, or, like, bettering yourself. If you're like, whatever, that's just me. But if you're like, well, no, this is what I'm working on, then that's when it's different. But I don't have anything else to say about that, I don't think. Like, that my thing was not murder. Full stop. So maybe no murder for 2024.
A little goal for all our blondies.
Come on, Gypsy Rose, you got this.
She'd love blonde vibrations.
She would. Wouldn't you guys love to have her on here? Okay, let's go. Ins are ins for 2024. I can start, because this is just
some
like,
of mine are very like,
I've got either really deep concept, or my number 3 is not deep at all and it's one word. But this one is finding the good in each day. One bad thing or a string of bad things doesn't make a bad day at all, ever.
My first one is matcha.
We're out.
In.
Oh yeah,
Putting
sorry.
in.
Yeah, true.
do you mean out?
I got
Like you said it ends for this year and then said not everything makes a bad day.
Yeah.
Out, everything is
Facts.
a bad day.
Mine. I actually put, because I did this list on my phone, I put concerts and then buying concert tickets as two separate things. So I've blended it as concerts, but more if that's possible. We go to a lot, but it's home is where the heart is. Home is concerts.
Yeah. I said these, I think I'm going to put these two together. I put overdressing for things.
Nice.
Because we are overdressers. Like if I just want to wear a nice outfit to something, I will. And I also put dopamine dressing.
Yeah.
Like dressing what makes you happy no matter where you're going. Because that makes a good day.
You know what my dopamine dressing is going to be for 2024? My number 3 on the list? Peplum. I will die on this hill.
Timed.
I will die on this hill that peplum is coming in this year.
No one's told you it's not, and you're acting like Eliz acts like she's defending peplum with her life, and no one has ever gone, what do you mean?
It's not that... Well, I've said it to you loads of times. I might have said it to Caitlin, but it's not that people are saying it's ugly, it's not coming in. It's that no one's saying it, and if I yell it from the rooftops, peplum, and then nice bangles like this one. If you are watching us, like just a nice enamel and like whatever, a chunky little bangle to go with your rose quartz and everything.
Yeah. I put work hard, play hard, and hear me out, in like a bit of a slight movement away from manifesting.
Okay.
I'm not saying manifesting is out, but I'm saying you need to manifest and work towards something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's how I believe.
like you need to work towards goals. I feel like, especially online, there's like this thing that thinks that if you just write something down loads of times, it will happen.
Yeah,
I don't think
facts.
that's true. I think you need to work towards your goals, and then you will reap the benefits from it. But I don't think necessarily in like all 2024 you need to be working 24/7 and then 2025 you can play. I think it's like small little bursts.
Yeah.
Like we work hard on an episode, we go have fun, and people like praise us for a good episode. Do you know what? Like little things like that.
Even at festivals, we do our interviews and then we go shake it off.
Yeah, like I feel like it in that way, and working towards your goals and being happy that you're working towards your goals rather than like forcing yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like rather than just saying it's going to happen and it will happen.
Yes. Okay, in more reading for fun. We do it in the summer a lot, but there actually is no reason why we can't have that same time in the summer to also read in the winter. And also in is like, we actually do have more time than we think, using our time more wisely, I think. Because like, yeah, busy people, but it's in to use that time in the evening, do something else. It doesn't matter if it's dark outside. In is making the most of, what's it, daylight saving.
This is like, I am aware that this episode is just becoming like me talking about studies. I had a like a workshop, and they said something about like God, I can't remember what the phrase of it was, but it was basically like, you don't need to sit down to write for 3 hours and have a whole body of work. You can sit down and write for half an hour, and that's still more words than you had before.
Facts.
And that kind of like you said, we're busy people, and I kind of well, I don't know what the word is, but like begrudge the fact that almost all of the people on my course don't work, and I work like 3 days a week, if not 4 or 5, and I was always like, I have such a busy schedule, like I can't get things done. And that made me realise, like, just because it's half an hour is still a lot of time if you just get your head down. And so that's why I kind of agree with that. Like,
and with yours, you're still gonna get your big thesis at the end.
And it's just
so.
like, it's not feeling like because you're busy you can't do things. And I think we have that, is that we think, oh, I've been at work all day, I'm tired, I don't want to do something. But it's like, but you've been at work all day, but it's like 5 p.m.
Now
like,
the day starts.
There's still time.
We both have a Dolly Alderton book that we've not started reading yet, but you know what? It gets to 8 p.m. If we have dinner, we watch our shows, we can then just read for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
If we want to, and then just go to bed. Like, we can do other things, do you know what I mean?
Maybe we should save that for whenever we're sat reading, but then we read at different speeds.
What do you mean?
Like, imagine if we had like a book club, but like the book club is like us reading at the same time, the same book.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We read
don't
at
need to make
different
these plans
speeds,
right
but
now.
also, you know, if we just were like, do this chapters, and when we get to those chapters, then we'll talk about it.
Oh, should we do that? Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe on our stories we can be like, this is what we're reading at the minute. Have a little reading.
See, I like-
reading nook.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
Because one of my ins was friend dates, and I feel like book clubs.
Invite them to the reading nook.
Oh my god, we should do this, and it will hold us accountable, because I find that I get wrapped. I tried this. I had like a books highlight on Instagram, and then I found that all I do is read like, and I know it still counts, all I do is read like academic books, and I'm like,
That's why
I don't
reading
wanna
for
share
fun,
this,
isn't
like,
it?
yeah, I don't want to share this like literary criticism book. So yeah, reading for fun and doing it with friends. Like, we did well in 2023 to kind of see like friend dates is like a big thing. I think making plans with friends and doing nice things and kind of indulging and is a really nice way to show love to your friends.
Facts.
And it doesn't necessarily need to be in relationships. And I feel like that's like, if you're in 2024 single, I feel like you don't have to miss out on things, because the world is made for couples. So go with a friend, and then it's a couple.
Or go on your own. If
that's
you know, referring back to the old
Yeah.
independence thing. This is so funny. So I did all of my ins and outs. I wrote all of these on January 3rd. So what was in my mind on January 3rd was learning Catfish and the Bottom lyrics correctly. Because I'm so sorry, I make up so many words to what they're saying, and I'm such a big fan. But you know, when like you've been singing something for a decade your way, I don't care what he's saying. But if we might be seeing him, whatever combo, this year at Reading, maybe I would like to know that what I'm screaming is correct.
Yeah.
I know that's just me though. Your turn.
I have like an in and an out that are like together. I have an in saying still oversized clothing.
Yeah.
Like, because I know the silhouette is due to change soon, because we've had like baggy, like things.
Puffy.
Yeah, that's staying for me. I love a puffy dress. I love like a baggy jumper, a baggy jean, and that pairs with, I want to stop it before it gets in. Out skinny jeans. I will not accept that as an in, so I'm putting it in my out so that it can't.
Everyone will be disgusted to know I wasn't looking at skinny jeans, just putting that out there, that this morning on Urban Outfits I was looking for capri trousers to go with my peplum top.
Liz!
Okay, well, when all of you come July, well, maybe not July, come April, where they kind of stop, well, you know, like
So it's like jorts.
my unitard.
Oh, yeah.
But just the bottom part of that one. It's not a cycling short. Yeah, it's not a jorts. It's not the baggy-ish element
What is
of
the
it, but
material
it's
of
not a
them?
jean. It's like almost trouser material. I have a vision, all right? So that's in, is the vision. My in is wearing my glasses out once I get them fixed, because actually they don't fit me
and they've got
and they're
logos all
broken.
over.
Yeah, but I either get new glasses or fix those and wear them out, because wearing my glasses out, because nobody knows that that's like not your default look.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, once I have a style I'm good with, incorporate it into the outfit. And I know a lot of people are doing that at the minute, so it's not like this is some like profound statement. Like, glasses are trendy, but if you're a glasses wearer, I'm the person I know more blind than me is my dad, and that's it. And if he can go out in glasses and make him like look his like default look, why can't I? Do
It's
you know what I
also
mean?
like it's so weird that we kind of went like full circle, because I remember when I was in high school, I remember saying to someone like, I don't like wearing my glasses because how people wear glasses in films, it's always like little like scrawny like nerds.
Yeah.
And I also had asthma, and I was like, that is like ultimate like kid who's gonna get bullied in a film look. And I remember someone being like, that is so weird that you think that. And I was like, no, but like, do you understand what I mean? Like, you see that in films, like, why would I want to be that person?
Well, my deep-rooted thing was I had braces and glasses. My name is Elizabeth. I got scared people were going to call me Ugly Betty, because I was also not a aesthetically pleasing child. So I thought that was really, like, that was gonna happen. I was so annoyed when Ugly Betty was popular, and someone I knew called me Betty. So I was like, God, the second that the cogs start turning for everyone, it's over for me.
And then, like, at uni, no one really wears glasses. Like, if someone wore glasses on a night out, you'd be like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" Like,
but then you'd see everyone in lectures wearing glasses.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
And so, like, I agree. I think, for the sake of our eyes, glasses, and we have really nice glasses. Like, the two of us own good glasses.
Yeah, once mine
You
are
just
fixed,
don't know.
they're good. I went to the cinema last night, which I don't think I've ever done in my life, which my eyes were well happy about that, because it's
Right.
a cinema. Like,
We went to the
focusing.
cinema, no makeup, glasses, and it felt so freeing. This is actually my next one, going to the cinema
Oh,
because that was so pleasant.
we saw Priscilla last
we
night.
saw Priscilla. We got the bus, so it was like 6 minutes, but it would have been like a 20-30 minute walk. It was an independent cinema, and
I want to get a cinema pass.
yeah, and we just went in like comfies, no makeup, glasses, and it was so pleasant. I felt so relaxed, and I just feel like we've gone to the cinema a couple times. I saw Wonka 3 times in the cinema, so I've been to the cinema a fair bit. And for someone who is constantly thinking about things and constantly on my phone or my laptop and whatever, to go in the cinema, sit in the dark in comfy seats and just watch something. Like, I can't watch things at home without doing something alongside,
Yeah.
but the cinema is like one of the few times, other than like when we're just sat chatting, that I can just turn my brain off and just like not think, and like think about one thing at a time.
You know, I do notice that for you that's good to be at the cinema, not the thinking thing. But if we watch a film, you're on your phone for a lot of it, just texting or whatever, and that's not like a dig
I'm
at you.
crocheting, like I need to be busy because I'm like,
That's not a dig. It's just
No.
you'll just do multiple things because
like,
you can.
yeah, and I'm
but
like,
you
sorry.
can't. It's alright. But you can't at the cinema, because if you're on your
No.
phone, it's rude.
I'm a very like I say I'm a workaholic, but I don't necessarily mean like paid work, but I like doing things. I like getting things done.
Busybody.
Yeah, I'm a busybody, but I feel like it's important for me to have downtime. Like in the evenings, I try not to go on my phone.
Yeah. Well, that's
Like,
why we're
not
gonna
when we're watching
read.
TV, but like when we're just like sat existing, I try not to go on my phone too much, because it's like you just need like one thing at a time sometimes.
Phones off at the Nook. Phones aren't allowed. Phones in the pocket, on silent please at the Nook.
When Eliz's sofa turns into the reading nook, mind your business. Like,
Then what?
We have like parallel rooms, and she's got a sofa in the same place as this one. Like, and when that becomes a reading nook, mind your business.
Yeah, don't worry about it. My
Right.
one is a personal one, because everyone laughed at me because we were talking about we were on FaceTime with Caitlin last night, and we were talking about like the key thing to look for in a partner. I got laughed at for saying this, but now it's on my in list of expressing emotion, because I said for myself it would be someone that can melt the ice within me. And I don't, and I was like, oh, I won't say it next time, I won't say it. But I'm like, no, that's how I felt
I'm
in the
gonna say it on
moment.
record.
That's how I felt
No,
in the
there's nothing
moment.
wrong with what you said. It was the way you said it.
But it's how I
And
felt.
it was the way that, like, guys, like, you don't understand. Like, she said what Caitlin's was, and then mine. And she went, and for me, I need someone to melt my iciness. And it was so just like me and Caitlin got very like straightforward, like a few words. And it
Well,
was like,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna like
It was like, yeah,
delve.
it was like, yeah, facts. And then it was just like she got this like big long metaphor, being like, I just need someone to defrost my iciness.
Well, I don't know how else to say, like, because not make me nice, because I'm a nice person.
Soften up.
Yeah, but I'm not a rude person. That's why I don't know how else to say it. But yeah, so expressing emotions, and this is like now not to do with that, but things are allowed to hurt. If the space you're in doesn't allow that, you're in the wrong space. So in finding safe spaces and expressing emotions.
Sorry, I'm thinking about when you shared Steven Sanchez on your close friends and said, is this a safe space?
In Steven Sanchez, in me. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually was going to put communication on mine, so I like that you had that. Like, because I just feel like that's always an in. I think saying
It's never out.
no, and I think kind of like being open and honest when something's gone wrong or when you need like extra support. I'm liking the like using close friends as a way to tell people something without having to have the conversation multiple times. Like, people can know something's happening, but you don't need to sit down at a coffee and be like, yeah, this actually happened and this is going on right now.
I ghosted my close friends.
What?
The Steven Sanchez thing is the only thing I put my close friends in like 2 weeks.
But like communications, telling people when things are happening.
I actually spelled, I don't know how I spelled that so wrong. Courses. Caresses. Just got the Irish. Caresses. Develop my passions, extracurricular, and I should have put on there pole dancing. I'm not saying you all have to be like in pole dancing, but I would like to at least go to one class in trying something out, and if it's just a one-time thing for this class, this skill, whatnot, yeah, sure.
In diverse festival lineups, and I am meaning the kinds of people. However, I'm also meaning like a little bit of everything, something for everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Like genre?
Yeah, and just like different types
Age,
of
demographic.
artists. Yeah, I was kind of thinking. I'm gonna bring up Tyler, the creator, later as well. But I was thinking about, you know, when he was talking about his festival.
Yeah.
And he was like, I wanted there to be something for each person, and each artist brings something different. I was kind of thinking about that and how like I would love more festivals to do that, because a lot of the time when we go to a festival, and it probably takes a lot of like confidence in like it's a risk to have like a eclectic lineup, because when you have a lineup and they all are similar, you're obviously going to sell more tickets, because
it's like, damn, the lineup, that's like made for me.
Yeah. However, I think it would be nice to have a couple that are just like, there will be something you like here, and you'll be exposed to different genres and different artists.
I think
it's kind of what we were saying in the Platinum Mixtape version, where it's kind of like in seeing what other kinds of music you can like, because you're wrong if you think you can only like one genre or one type.
I think Reading and Leeds are doing that genre-wise. There's obviously a lot to come, but and they are actually getting a lot of hate for it, so it's balancing the backlash, because they have like the more pop-based person-ish, the more rock-based person, and then the more dance EDM-ish. Like, they have something, you can see the set things, and they're getting a lot of hate for it because it's predominantly meant to be a rock festival. And like, yeah, we have like Lewis Capaldi on the lineup, or like Billie Eilish or Lana Del Rey. Like, yeah, it's not rock, so I understand that if you've always been marketed a certain way. But what about new festivals that provide more?
Yeah,
I think that would be
and
good.
like Reading and Leeds is one of the biggest festivals in the UK, so it's like that is one of the festivals that can get away with doing this. Whereas like if Barn on the Farm did that,
just have some rock,
yeah,
crazy rock,
yeah,
and like EDM,
yeah, it would be a bit like whoa,
shock to the system.
Yeah, but I feel like the bigger ones to do it, and then maybe some like new style. I would like to see that. It's too late now because they're probably all planned, but you know,
next year, 2025,
carrying it on.
In passion in music journalism, make it about the music.
I have that as my out.
Oh,
as
what?
in like out superficial interviews. Ari Tyler talking about it in Nardwar.
Yeah, I want in Nardwar type beats in interviews, in Blonde Vibrations type beats in interviews. Out, I'm not naming names, out people that clearly don't do their research, just want things for clickbait, just want things more personality based. I understand that that's a whole realm in itself, but if that's the one opportunity and this person never does interviews and you're asking XYZ when you've not even asked about the album or the tour or what's coming next, like, then what about it? What are you getting? It's music journalism.
Yeah, and I think I understand that in order to get a fan base you need to have a personality, but in a world of social media you can get your personality out there. I think interviews should be a place where you can talk about your art and be asked meaningful questions on projects that you put time and effort and like heart into. I don't want to know like what you had for dinner yesterday.
If it comes up naturally, my voice is broke, then like I'm gonna cry. If it comes up naturally, that's great. You know, the extra little like tidbits.
Yeah, and also like like a fun question that's allowed.
Icebreakers.
Like, I mean, like, we asked Thomas, like, what's, like, your favourite fan experience? That's not necessarily about
the EP.
Like, development for his music, but it's still personality, but it's still related to experience as an artist. And, so I think, you know, who's that guy that does the good, like, film interviews? Do you know? And he does it for BBC.
I don't know.
Oh,
But have you seen that curly-haired girl that does the film interviews? And she interviewed Austin Butler, and people said that she kind of looks like Austin Butler, and she told him. She does a really good job of, like, she has, like, weird, like, the fact that I remember her saying that.
Is
that's
it the one that
personality.
spoke to Taron Egerton?
Maybe.
And she was like, you put on weight for the film, and he was like, yeah, and she was like, you looked good. And
I
he
don't
was like,
know.
and it was really flirty.
She has, like, a good balance of, like, personality, because you can remember random things. She does, like, street interviews as well, but she's asking what's needed to be. She did one with Rosalind, what's her name?
Pike.
Yeah, recently, and that was really good. And the interview got cut short, and they were both like, oh no, that's such a shame, because we're having a really good conversation.
Yeah, I think in conversational interviews rather than Q&A, I think that is something that we kind of aim for in, like,
Zane Lowe.
Yeah, and we always, when we first started, we would say to people, like, oh, we worry sometimes that we kind of put ourselves into answering it a bit more, but I think that's nice, and I think that's, you can get the personality of the person you're interviewing out more by having a back and forth and being like, yeah, I actually agree because we have this, more than you would have being like, so tell me about your family life.
Yeah, because I don't know, obviously you can vet questions and stuff, but if someone thinks that, and this is like Tyler energy, if he's going and think he's talking about music and he's asked about something else, he's going to be like, what about music though? Like, when do we get that in? And then there's going to be a bit more resistance, bit of distance, like, I don't know. So, music journalism, like, and not even in a snobby way or a judgmental way, but from what I just want to see from where my favourite artists are going.
And I want to see the interviewers be passionate about it. We were talking about this with our friend Manny, and it's like, I want to watch interviews by people who listen to the music and know the artist. And we've also had, like, positive feedback before, being like, you're asking things that, like, fans actually want to hear, whereas when you get old white men doing it, they don't know what the fan base wants to hear, because you can't put yourself in those shoes, because you don't know what it's like to be an 18-year-old girl waiting up till midnight to listen to Thomas's EP. Do you know what I mean?
In Fangirls.
Yeah.
And this is, like, music related, because one of us had to put it on there, and we were like, I don't have room to put it on there, so I did. In Ariana Grande. We love Ariana Grande. We played Successful whilst we were writing our ins and out list. It's time. It is time. In Billie Eilish 3. Do you have any others?
Oh, I thought you meant about music. I was like, I can't think of, like, someone whose album I'm looking forward to on the spot. I had one more, and it was just statement clothing items. Like, nice, like, standalone items.
Nice. My last one was water. And that's not for me. That's for the general, like, population. That's the one that, you heard me go, like, that was that. Because it was water, ... and it's in capital letters. I just think we could all drink a bit more water.
I also put nice meals at home.
Nice.
It kind of goes as, like, self-care, like, taking the time out to, like, try out a new recipe.
Slow down, cook.
Yeah.
Have some nice, like, drinks with it, whatever. And, like, not to say, like, oh, you have to go on a health kick. Because it could be this burger that you really wanted to try out, all your toppings. Yeah, you go for that. Okay, outs. I can start. I don't know if this is the right word. Complaining incessantly.
Yeah.
Is that the word? Either online or in person. You are draining your own energy. And you're draining the people around you. Can you not hear if you're complaining? The silence and stuff. Like, just lighten up. Literally. Lighten up your energy. Your aura.
I put outs, leaking music. And I am absolutely talking about, SZA and Harry. Harry, if you don't know, someone is selling Harry's demos, and then a certain updates page is sharing them, and their argument is, well, everyone should have the same access to things, but
no one should have
I can't express how wrong that is, to listen to someone's incomplete music that they have not put out there, because the whole point of art is that it's things that you are proud of, especially with someone like Harry, and also I guess like SZA, where they have
Ariana.
where you have such polished projects and you're really proud of your discography, and then you've just got like trending songs on TikTok, and you know what, we've eaten it sometimes they're really good and we're like, love this, but for the most part, imagine how like horrible that must feel, where it's an incomplete piece of work that is just, everyone's just heard it now and it's not necessarily something you're proud of.
On the lowest level, if we made an episode and then after we were like if we did this and then we were like, the vibes are off, scrap it, we'll do it again in a few weeks, and then it just goes out, like Becky's like, nah, it's whatever, they can have it, everyone should access it, like they said it, I'd be a bit like, well, actually no, nervous. Like what if there was things we wanted to cut out, or like things that just weren't, you know, whatever, I'd be a bit annoyed. And the same with, so Ariana Grande even said herself, like, people have taken like everything. Well, when Lana's laptop got stolen, everything from every era of hers is being leaked at the minute, to the point where people are making like lists of like, this is from the Lust for Life era, here's what you can listen to basically make your own new album. It's like, but there was things that were ultra violence cut-offs that made it to, for instance, Blue Banisters. You're taking potential offcuts, whatever, demos that might have made it into something better, and now they'll just cut it. Well, wasn't the Fantasize song, Ariana, didn't she, I don't know if she did or just speculation of that was actually going to become something, and why would you now, because it's out there.
I don't think it was true, but people originally thought that Lana's Snow on the Beach verse was lost to the laptop, and so we just didn't get a verse. I don't think that actually was true, but do you know what I mean? Like, you miss out by doing that, and there's a reason why it didn't make the cut, because the artist chose not to. I think Harry's actually said before that it makes him really nervous, because it's like, you can't have final say on what goes out, and as an artist that's what you should have. Yeah,
because it's your art. Like, it could be the same for anything. Writing a book, if you just have this draft where nothing's developed. I'm looking at Dolly Alderton, I don't mean her, but it's just one thing. If the characters aren't developed and the plot's not what you wanted it to be because you were waiting for that one bit of inspiration and then got taken away, I'd never want to write again. I'd be like, that chapter is closed. Out, or was it your turn?
No, it's your turn.
Out is like, I don't know if this is the right phrasing, but like not bouncing back, and we spoke about this a lot, so this will be very brief. Like time does move too quickly. No one can force you to move on from things, but in this dog eat dog world, you have to be the one at the end of the day to pull yourself up out of the dirt. I don't know what happened on January 3rd. I was really just thinking about the world. Like, you have to, because you could be like, no, never. It's not happening. This has happened, or experience this, whatever, this argument, this thing. That's done. I'm not. But you wanted it at the time, or you wanted to experience something, or you wanted to achieve something. And you won't if you stay where you are. But if you learn from the thing, much like learn from 2023 for 2024, learn from the thing and evolve from it, know for next time, next round, person, thing, whatever, then you've pulled yourself out of it, and then it's done. You're out for now. Yeah, you might go back in, but there's the to and fro of life, I believe.
I like that. My next one was out, concert queues.
Yeah, please.
Maybe like a couple hours. Let's stop the whole day thing. Overnight. Sorry. No.
Yeah. I said out 8-hour screen times. And I'll be the one to say that mine probably is higher than that. Like, I will have it open at work. I will also have it open at any point. TikTok, Hinge, Spotify, it's all adding up. I'm not saying you have to delete the things, but like, you know, think if I'm on TikTok right now, but there's actually that book, going back to the Nook, I'm on TikTok, but I'm going to go to the Nook instead.
Yeah.
Sorry, TikTok, whatever. But even if it's BookTok, it's not the same as the Nook.
Friends for the sake of it. Like friends out of
My
convenience.
next one, friends from 2023. And if they've not spoken to you thus far.
Yeah, just like having friends out of convenience and they're not bettering you and you're not like particularly excited by their presence.
Don't
what's the point?
bring them into this fresh year.
Yeah, what's the point of the energy being put into it?
You could have them gone. You could not speak to them in 2024 if you don't want to. Going back to this whole how would you break off a friend thing, I feel like this whole year of Champagne Whispers is like led to this. You could do your clean break if you want to right now. It's a good time. If they didn't say Happy New Year's to you, why not? They
don't want you to have a happy new year.
I said, and I think that, so this is out and it's weird.
I saw one of yours.
I don't know which one it is. I said, so for out, obviously you said earlier this isn't like anti-manifesting, but it's working for it. I said out, wishing for more. Yes, manifest, think big, but I want ungrateful people out. I think I love this little life. like the things that you are currently doing and pursuing. Stop always thinking, but I don't have this thing. Get that out, because what you have is great. You can obviously build upon for more, but just, recalibrate. Yeah.
I put hangovers, and as a result of that, binge drinking, which is what I started to think towards the end of 2023. I was like, I'm not drinking anymore because I'm wiped out the next day. It makes me really anxious. And I just, you know what? I've been thinking about it. I don't think anyone needs to. If you really enjoy drinking, fair, that's fine. If you think that weighs up. But I feel like, and I've spoken to this about a couple of different people, if you find that the next day you're that like, God, I feel awful, and it doesn't actually reflect how much alcohol added to your night before, leave it in 2023. Like, I still drink.
We're blessed that we don't really need it.
Special occasion, like, we're funny enough alone.
Thank God for the TikTokers that coined the phrase friend drunk.
Yeah.
Because that's what we are the majority of the time. And then we go out for a couple of little cocktails. It's not to say get rid of that.
No.
Get your ciders if you want.
Yeah, but I just realised that I don't need to be drunk to do anything. Like,
is that because your confidence is raised now on its own?
Maybe, probably. I'm like, I don't need to do that.
Confidence probably is like a part to play, because I feel like, especially like the start of uni and the start of getting to know people, you do just drink more.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, we go out and we're like, we could just have one cocktail, or if it's happy hour, a couple rounds, whatever. Because
and I'm not saying like special occasions, like get a few more drinks in, but sometimes like you drink so much, you get drunk for the last like half an hour, and then you're hungover the next day, and it's like, what was the point?
Yeah, it's like personal preference of what you want to do.
Yeah, like personal preference. I don't enjoy the feeling of being drunk because it makes me nervous to not be in complete control. So why would I do that? But if you enjoy it, then go and go for it.
But for you, that's
personally
out.
For me, that's out.
I said so. I've done the friends one, done that like that. Okay, and this is just a couple little ones out paying for Apple storage.
I'm fighting that upgrade to the £8 one.
Like, I'm probably still gonna do it. So maybe out extortionate fees, because I pay for our Google Drive as well for these videos. That it makes sense because I can see it get full straight away. But it just annoys me that I pay so much for like a terabyte when I don't get a terabyte's worth out of it. So maybe is Apple. Create more in-betweens, not just the little one and then the huge one. Or just make it cheaper.
Yeah, I agree.
It's my grievance with Apple.
Out micro skirts. And I'm aware I'm saying this as a jealous 5'8" girl. I can't wear a micro skirt.
If you would have been around for the last week of 2023... I never want to see another skirt again.
No.
I was gagging for a skirt for New Year's Eve. Everything was micro. Everything.
It is so impractical. They look cute, but they are so impractical. And if you're over like 5'4", you're probably not going to get one.
Or if you just have like short legs, bless up.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Or like your frame fits. If you're Sabrina Carpenter... microskirts are in.
Yeah.
If you are someone, I remember I used to work with at Urban, she really suits microskirts in.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's an inaccessible fashion trend.
Out coconut as a default in yummy things.
That's the one I read.
Yeah. For the vegans out there, it's Veganuary. Let's move away from coconut milk, coconut oil.
Coconut oil, cheese.
Yeah, like, can we not? I'm gonna take it too far at some point. So let's not. And in M&S fudge, please, out. Coconut.
My final two kind of go together. One is imposter syndrome, and the other is faking your life on social media. I think they go hand in hand because people faking life on social media is why other people have imposter syndrome.
Facts.
I'm all for faking it until you make it. However, I'm against completely lying.
There's the fine line. We have a sense of fake it till you make it. We're very like, yeah, we're gonna show off what we're doing in a certain way, but we would never be like, we got this, we did this, and outright lie.
Yeah.
You can leave some to the imagination, but like lying, it's never good.
Yeah, and I just think it makes a bad atmosphere. It also makes a really competitive atmosphere.
Competitiveness.
Yeah. Out competitiveness, out like not letting other people in the same industry shine, and being so insecure in your own project or passion that you feel the need to tear someone else down because you are threatened by a similar thing.
Without naming things. Yeah. A situation occurred with a friend of ours recently, and it just wasn't okay. Regardless of the reasons behind things, the way certain people will go about it to get the edge or to tear down something else in favor of their own, it's not nice. Leave it in 2023 and just make your thing better. Obviously, if there's outright copying and whatnot, like that is different, you know, plagiarism. But in a case of people in the same realm, the same industry doing similar things, just improve
and like believe in yourself enough to not need to publicly shame someone for something that they've not done on purpose.
Because you're trying to tear away the competition, but why don't you just win?
Yeah.
Like, sorry to say it. My final out is... So I didn't put the word demois, but I kind of mean demois and Taylor Swift discourse online. Because the way people say she's pregnant, she's married... did you see that 5,000 word article that was either due to come out or did come out about whether Taylor is a closeted queer person? The amount of hate that's getting, because leave her alone. She wants to show us what she will show us. She's happy in her relationship, she's very public with it, very cool. But the things that she doesn't, okay, if she was ever with a woman, if she is not attracted to us, whatever, it's none of our business. And the same with Damar, like, and it's difficult because we're not gossips, but we like information, and we will feed into more. And I'm not saying we won't read it, because we probably will, and then discuss it. We were talking about it with breakfast. But, you know, just the things are a little bit too far. You know, if it's like, rumoured AG7 is coming, that's great. Let's all get excited for Ariana.
But if it's like, Harry will be doing this specific venue on this specific date.
Yeah, it's like, let him announce that if he has something to say. Or it's like, this person suffered this loss or something. It's like, okay, if that was me, I wouldn't really want that. Okay, out. And again, another thing, we do read it. We are not perfect.
No.
Forgive us, we are imperfect. Tattle life. But stop, because get a life.
Yeah.
That's all. So we're down to the final mini section, and it's basically just general, the vibe for 2024, not necessarily specifics, but just resolutions-ish.
Positive thinking patterns.
Nice. I like that for you.
Thanks.
Mine is, and this is my quote, everyone. It's time for the quote. Because I saw it again on the 3rd. I'm not sure what 3 means. Start quote. Stop wondering if I'm good enough for other people, and start wondering if they're good enough for me. Let's just sit with that for a second. It's true though.
Yeah.
And I believe it. And I also said, happiness, not just contentness in career. And if you have changes to make them.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Ella's set me one of not being harsh on myself.
Yes.
Which I did agree.
That goes alongside positive thinking patterns though. And And I won't therapize you right now, but build back up.
And celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
It's something that I started on whatever day I started redoing my applications this year. Is that like, I was like, I'm going to have to flex my wins. And then I was like, I probably should be doing that anyway.
Yeah, you have a lot of wins. Celebrate them. And then if there's a slight knockback, it doesn't take away from, and everyone can relate to this, is it doesn't take away from it. You can still carry on from the same point. It doesn't matter if there was a knockback. You got to that point on your own.
Yeah.
Anyone else or any outside like forces can't push you back.
Yeah.
You're just there, and you took a little minute there. Now you carry on forward.
Be your own cheerleader.
This too shall pass. My last one, was it my last one? Yeah, was, and I'm not going to say them on air, and we've not even written them down yet, but I just, this is a vibe for us, Blonde Vibrations. Interviews and great content, but don't stress on it, because this, whilst you could say this is a job or whatever, even any job, it's not your entire life. If things don't happen, we face a lot of technical difficulties and stuff. The thing is, I think of it is if we sit down, if we're annoyed about something, it's not going to be good content. I would rather wait a few days, come back with a better attitude. If we were peed off about something, you'll know.
Yeah.
And it's never going to come across well. I'd rather wait a week and come back with a better attitude, happy and positive, doing what was planned, and not a worse version because you're just trying to get it out.
Yeah.
So it's like, meet deadlines, but they are self-set deadlines, so if there needs to be some like leniency, don't stress. This is a positive thing, and the things you are doing are so positive.
Positive attitude makes positive content.
Exactly. And like, in this, I know it's not a job, but like, we are our own bosses, so I think stick to what you set for yourself, stick to your goals, but it's, at what point does it become too much stress? Take some away if you have to. Yeah.
I agree.
Do you have any others?
No, I think that's a good one to end on.
I think so too. But my question for you guys is, what are your ins and outs? What do you want for this year? And just one piece of what?
Yeah.
Just one piece of general. Whatever you're going to answer or saying what you want of this year, there's no reason why you can't get it. Facts. Shake it like jelly.
God, we were doing so well.
What? In
Ice Spice jelly.
Ice Spice. Because she celebrates the new year with her birthday.
In Wonka.
My on repeat is Cast with the Wonka soundtrack right now. In Jacob Elordi and everything.
I put everything I got into this chocolate.
It's usually me that sings.
Wonka.
And there's literate. And illiterate.
We need to go. We need a Caesar salad. In a Caesar salad.
In Caesar.
In wash. You guys know wash?
Type in wash, grey wash teddy online.
Becky.
This is
wash teddy.
And washette.
Oh yeah. Chef wash.
LGBT wash.
Becky's like, guys, like, please, my first edit back in like a month. And you're like, anything else we want to input?
In Editor Becky.
Oh, in Editor Becky.
In Editor Becky.
Yes. And in appreciating your team.
Why are we like going back a few segments?
In
Out.
Australians.
Out clean girl aesthetic. I can't do it anymore. It's not meant for me.
Out slick back buns. Because I can't do it. I have curly hair.
Out thinking that you have to be blonde when you should really have healthy hair. Facts. Or having long hair when really you should have healthy hair. Healthy and long.
Guys, I had to have that realization yesterday.
We both realised these things, and look, we both got not bleach blonde hair at the top.
Out the camera cutting us off.
In loving yourself. In happiness. And I think that might be it. So
thanks for listening, guys. No, go on.
If you've not watched part 1 of this New
that's
Year's,
what I was gonna say.
it's a mini series of just like out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah.
And this is part 2 in Champagne Whispers. But if you have Spotify, you can go over to the Platinum Mixtape.
You can actually still listen to it even if you don't have Spotify. You can listen to it on Spotify free. I just don't think you can listen to the full songs, but the segments are very Champagne Whispers-esque.
I really like it.
That is one, if you've never listened to a Platinum Mixtape before, that is one that I think you'll like if you listen to the Champagne Whispers.
It came out about a week ago, so it's perfect. It's still current and new. Tell us everything that you think about this episode and future episodes. What do you want from us this year? What's your in and outs for the show for us? I would like to know that.
Yeah.
What do you hate? Do you hate us? Are you mad at us?
Out. Blonde Vibrations. Hate.
As long as Blonde Vibrations is in for you, and that's all good.
Send us your in and out lists. Like, I really like this
please.
trend.
And we'll recap again next year, come 2025.
Yeah.
2020 thrive.
Nice.
Am I going to remember that in a year's time? God, no. Okay, we'll see you.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Love ya. Goodbye.
Wow. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.